What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 6 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning here tonight, 5-2, in what should have been 6-2 if it wasn't for a pretty garbage no-goal call there at the very end of the game. But nonetheless, we'll be breaking it down, what went right here on the first ever Monday night Amazon Prime game for this Maple Leafs team. Hopefully all of you guys were able to watch that. We'll be joined by Jay Rosehill for his first ever win. Before we get into anything, I want to just address something right off the top. I'm not in my home, not doing it from the regular location. So that is first and foremost. That's why there is this white wall and desk behind me. Internet dropped in the house today. Had nothing. No internet. Gone. Will not be fixed until tomorrow. So packed up my stuff, went to the office. We're still here. We're still doing the stream. The show goes on. We cannot go night without a post game. So that is why we are here in this spot. If the audio or anything is messed up, I apologize. Work with me here. We'll try to get it fixed. So yeah, whatever I can to fix that stuff. So forgot. Don't have my headphones, Bluetooth headphones either, so we're plugged into cable headphones here tonight. There's going to be a little bit of changes, but we'll try to make it work. So apologize to everyone if there is a little bit of lack of any of that. So hopefully everything is up and running good here. Right here on the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe here to the channel. You get these post-game live streams. You get the morning show. Nick, Rosie, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. By the way, if it wasn't cool enough to have that opportunity tonight, where you saw Matt Sundin during the broadcast, tomorrow morning with Nick and Rosie, Matt Sundin. Matt Sundin was my favorite player growing up. To get to hear anything from this guy at any point in time, promoting his new book there, obviously, but to get to hear anything from him is always a pretty cool opportunity. So make sure to subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss that tomorrow. We're going to have Rosie on here in a moment to help break this one down. I'm sure he's pretty pumped so that he doesn't have to hear shit from you guys about losing and him always being booked for those losing games. Finally, not only a win, but an incredible win here for this Leafs team tonight on home ice against a Tampa team who has looked pretty good so far to start this season. Despite Stamkos gone, Sergachev gone, they've come into this year and looked really, really good. They've looked like the Tampa Bay Lightning of old, and it didn't really matter. The Leafs kind of just said, I don't give a flying you-know-what, who you are or who you think you are, because we are the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is the style of hockey that we play. This is the style of hockey we're going to play this season, and we're going to take it to you. So as far as that stuff goes tonight, I thought that this was a great game from this Leafs team to be able to put that all together. But you guys don't want to just hear it from me. You want to hear it from Jay Rosehill, who's going to come in here with a more upbeat approach here tonight, maybe with another huge win and a great win tonight. But before we get to Rosie, I do want to remind people that this segment is brought to you by Square. If you run a restaurant, you're too busy for this ad, you're thinking about how to get more orders flowing and new locations opening. You need to get more customers and keep them coming back. So really, you're already thinking about Square, because Square Restaurant Tech helps more than 400,000 restaurants do all those things and more. So when you're thinking about your restaurant, think bigger, think Square. Go to square.ca and see why Square is big in restaurants. Rosie, how you feeling tonight, buddy? Big win, and you're not going to be blamed for the loss.
Oh my gosh, Stoley! Are you kidding me, man? That was the most well-rounded, solid 60-minute, no holes game that I've seen the Toronto Maple Leafs play in, I want to say, years, man. And I don't know if the Prime feed was just more electric. It was a Monday night, man. Like, what was that? I was so impressed top to bottom by that game. I am very happy to be in this mood instead of one of those garbage ones that I usually am in when I do this show.
No, it was great. It was like right from the very beginning, which obviously I harped on this over and over. There was a clip that came out of me asking you from the the shows we did teeing up the season, like, is starting on time going to be an issue? 6 games now, has not really felt like that. Home ice in Toronto has always been a concern. You start slow, everyone's underneath, getting their caviar and champagne, and it's quiet in the building. Wasn't an issue for this team on home ice to start on time, at least. Like, this was an unbelievable game for this team in prime time for everyone in the hockey world to see. You're on prime here. You're the standalone game before 12 games or whatever the heck it is tomorrow that are taking place. Everyone is watching you, and you showed up and put on that clinic. Like, that was a fun game to watch, and everything about it just felt great. Special teams, goalies, your top line, the bottom lines. This was an awesome game to watch.
Yeah, and I don't want to be that Toronto fan where let's plan the parade after one win when you're sulking. It's not about that. I'm gonna do it, but it's not about that. It's the way they won. It was how convincing that performance was. Like you said, start to finish. Like these guys are so famous for either putting themselves behind the 8 ball or shooting themselves in the foot. It's one or the other, and it's so hard to get 60 minutes out of the Toronto Maple Leafs the last handful of years, and that's the one we were looking for right there. Like, all the things you mentioned before I got on with the Tampa Bay Lightning, like, they're no slouch. It's not like they just smacked the San Jose Sharks around and it's like, okay, relax. And even on those, they have trouble putting 60 minutes together, and mentally they are hard. But that's a legit team that you just manhandled in every way. I mean, some guy, Gorgachev, a high hit, Domi just says enough of that. At the end there, McCabe's throwing bombs, and like, they were frustrated. They yanked out their stud goalie. They're frustrated as hell. They had nothing. The Tampa Bay Lightning had nothing all game long, and that's a testament to that team that's been struggling to put together those 60-minute efforts. I can't think of something where I was like, except maybe the power play. Were they over? I haven't crunched the numbers.
No, power play here tonight was 1 for 4. But The thing is, though, like, even on that, if we're going to touch on the power play, yeah, obviously we'd like it to be a little bit better. But even I'm watching this thing, the last power play in particular, I was watching, sitting there like, holy shit. Like, we didn't score, but they did good things. Rosie, like, it's those ones where you take away, like, we scored here tonight, but like, did we deserve it? Where sometimes we have that conversation on the post-game show. It's like, team played like garbage, special teams wasn't great, whatever. You got to win. You got lucky. You don't feel like you deserved it. Like, that power play, watching them, they're moving the puck well. They're moving quickly. They're moving it with purpose. Ekman-Larsson changes the dynamic of that because everyone on the other team has to play honestly to him. Like, they have to be aware he could shoot, and he will shoot. They have to kind of step up and take away that threat that's going on. The goalie has to be aware. And then on top of that, he's not telegraphing shit. Like, there's so many times before we watch and walk the line. This puck's going to Marner. Puck goes to Marner. Like, okay, well, every person in the building saw that one. It doesn't feel that way. It feels a little bit less predictable. And I think that'll cause some problems here. It still needs to be better. Don't get me wrong. Like, you need to find ways to score a little bit more frequently. But 1 for 4 here tonight, I thought they at least looked better. Like, the concept was there.
Well, yeah, they're 25%. You can't argue with that tonight.
Exactly.
And I wasn't sure if they got one or not, but I was specifically watching the Peeper tonight because I ripped them this morning on Morning Take, and I was like, what is your breakout? What is your entry? And what is your setup? And so I'm watching specifically going, do they have an MO out there? Do they know what they're at least trying to do, whether it's working or not? Or do they have a system in place? Like, what's Savard come in and taught them? Because up to this point, it just looked like complete freewheeling. I paid extra attention, and they've got the breakout. Their entries, they entered with ease, and then they try to switch sides with it. They seemed on the same page. So yeah. I was going to say, if they were 0 for 4, okay, that's the one thing you could still point to and say, well, that's not clicking yet. But overall, it wasn't a problem, or it wasn't something where you're like, oh my God, frustrating. And only adding to the fact that was as well-rounded of a game as I've seen. And yeah, OEL is everywhere, man. Like, he rounds out that decor like crazy. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I've been looking for that game out of the Toronto Maple Leafs where head to toe they usually just give him a chance to get back in the game and give up the late 2 goals with this absolute flurry the other team pours on where they're spinning around, no idea what to do. That was locked down. They gave Tampa nothing, and it seemed to be done with ease, and that's Craig Berube. Fingerprints all over that thing.
I want to talk about that. That's where the chat is going right now as well. There's a couple super chats. One of them is kind of funny. It's like you pulled this one out yourself, but I want to just kind of address some of these super chats here. So, Rosie, we got 2 super chats right now. First one, Dan Freeman. Woo, this is what we've been waiting. This is the team we've been waiting for years. There's the first one. And the second one, right in line with what you're saying, say his name, all caps, Craig Berube from our friend Maxentius Decimus. I think that the thing is with this group right now and what you're kind of saying and how the chat's feeling, the biggest kind of point here is, producer Vic texts us during the game. Started on time tonight. Okay, there. Check 1. That's first step, which would seem the simplest.
It's a huge thing, though.
Right, but it's like it seems the simplest to playing your full 60 minutes. Like, start on time. Huge, massive. You do not want to be chasing the game from the get-go. You start on home ice, you should be able to get it going. You should be rocking and ready to go. They are. They were here tonight. And then, like you said, the one thing that I thought was so awesome about tonight, you played to the final buzzer. Like, Austin Matthews, up 5-2 on the penalty kill, is stepping in front of Victor Hedman one-time shots, blocking it and breaking his stick. I know that that's expected, but, there's a couple minutes left. If he misses that one, are people really mad? Probably not. But he said, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyways. Gets in front of it. It's Steven Lorentz battling his ass off in the corner to get that puck, which should have been a goal, by the way. But get that puck, gets it to Holmberg, who puts it in the empty net. It doesn't count, but it's those things. It's them going nuts in the corner at the end of the game after the buzzer. It's 60 minutes, and I think a lot of this is kind of you can tee some of this back to Berube. Think about the last game, and they're up against the LA Kings. Calls a timeout, and he says, wake the F up. We can't be doing that. Get the offensive zone. He is pushing this from the top, making sure it goes through the guys who are the most important and your top guys, and they're the ones doing it, and then it goes through the rest of the team. And it's hard to say that that's not going to make an impact through 82 games, and then when it matters the most in April.
Well, what's the word we've been using pretty consistently since Berube's hire is accountability. He's going to demand accountability, and he's going to demand a certain standard and level of expectations that have to be met, or you're going to hear about it. And I don't think that's been going on in Toronto. They needed that 8 years ago, and they tried to get it by hiring Mike Babcock. Turns out that's just the wrong guy. And then when that blew up in their face, they had to, roll back to go with the players coach to Keefe. And all of a sudden, 8 years later, it's like, well, we're still where we needed to be before Babcock is you need to hire that guy that demands accountability out of this group. You have it, but in the right way now. And you see Austin Matthews stepping in front of a one-time with 2 minutes left. I don't want him blocking, but the point is they all have this new sense of pride in what they're doing, and they understand what it's supposed to look like. And yeah, it's a small sample size, but I don't want to overstate it, but I can't understate it because it's what they've been looking for out of that group. That I'm sorry, I have never seen that out of this group. I haven't. Oh. They've won games convincingly. They've lit teams up. Yeah, but it hasn't been in that fashion. And you can't say it's not a legit opponent. You can't say it, and there's nothing about it you can take away from them. No. I mean, they did it 60 minutes. Their big boys were their big boys. They played strong and tough and hard-nosed. They didn't get pushed around. They had a commitment to defense. The little intangibles, the little things that make a difference seemed like people were committed to. Their D were shut down, rugged, physical, moved the puck up, and their goalie stood on his friggin' head. All the bases were covered, man, and I was just like, Jesus, is this going to continue? Because if this is what their new identity is, we always knew they had the pieces of the personnel to maybe do it. They could just never put it together. And now I'm looking around. I know it's one game. It's more than that. They've been looking consistently better. throughout the season. It's been a short sample size, but I'm looking at that performance going, if you guys want to start channeling that and making that your identity, it's going to be the team that Toronto has been dying for forever. And they were close. As much as you chirp off John Tavares and laugh about it, we're close. Like that team is close to being really good. They just have not been able to put it together. And I think that was John's point when he took so much heat for saying you're close when you just got smacked out of the first round for the 20th time in a row. That's what he means. He's like, they're just missing something, that secret sauce. And it seems to be that Craig Berube could see that when he took the job, understood the assignment, and he's capable of implementing it where guys take it. Because you look at Austin Matthews, you look at these guys doing the things that they're doing, and as big or as small as you want to call them, that's the recipe that the Florida Panthers have had for a couple of years.
Yep.
Like, those guys put 60 minutes together. They start on time. They go right to the frickin' whistle. They stand up for each other. They got their big boys blocking shots. They don't give a shit. They're the Florida Panthers, and we go to town on every game, and they win bloody games, and they win series, and they win Stanley Cups because of that. The Toronto Maple Leafs, if they want to adopt that philosophy and that identity, look out, man. And they got a guy that's going to make sure that they keep their heads on straight and that they do it the right way. And you're already seeing it, man. That was, again, a game that you have not seen in years.
A couple of more super chats here kind of along that line. And one thing I want to get to as well, but just Colin Core sends, I forgot to send something. Go Leafs, go. Just pumped up. Cliche pucks. Dan Freeman, says, cliche pucks deep, crash, bang, fight back, control the game. And then there was another comment there from Ronald who said, just got back from the game. Like a lot of fun. Crowd was into it. Was super fun. It was loud and it was exciting.
Was the crowd louder today, or were those prime, like, were the microphones in the feed? Like, it just seemed like the goal horn was just like, wow, right in your face. You could hear the crowd in the roar. And when I've gone to games in Toronto and played there, but since then going to games, I'm like, God, this place has got an energy, and it does get loud. It does not translate onto TV. And a lot of people have thought that. And today, because it's a new feed and a whole new set of microphones and all that, I'm like, I think that building is decently loud. It just sounds like shit on TV, but not tonight.
Okay, I've had a controversial opinion on this for like the last year and a bit, going and paying more attention to the noise. And I've been afraid to say it because I know a lot of people out there, especially from other teams who watch, would just shit on me for it. I think the feed does the arena dirty. I'm not trying to say it's exciting and loud in there. Let's not twist those words. But I think the feed does it dirty. When we watched that Matthews getting announced on the captain on opening night, there was tweets like, oh, like Scotiabank Library at it again and stuff. My buddy was there, texted me and said the lid almost blew off this place when Matthews was announced. I was like okay.
Doesn't that prove it?
Yeah. And then it was like tonight I'm listening to this on the stream. I'm like, wow, it sounds electric in there. But
my kids noticed it.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I'm sorry, but I thought Prime was going to have some hiccups and maybe some growing pains and stuff. They just slung an NHL program like nothing, man. And it was crisp. It was fluid. There wasn't any big gaffes or anything. And just the quality of, like, I don't know if that's 4K or their new microphones. Like, all their shit is new. Who knows what the other outfits that you watch on TV is? There stuff from 2003 for all I know. Maybe, probably. Sure sounds like it. But that sounded like you were right there. I mean, the horn was crisp. The crowd, like when the crowd had a little roar, it just burst out of your speakers.
Yeah.
Where before you're like feigning to hear, is the crowd this and that? And it does it no justice, man. It does do it dirty. And I think that whatever mics they were using, and I don't tend to know anything about AV stuff, but that was crisp and loud. And I think the way you're supposed to watch a hockey game in Toronto.
So there's a couple things, though, I think contributes to this. The fans need something to cheer for as well. Yes, they need to be going and getting guys going and helping that way, but they also are waiting for things to cheer for. And one thing I think that they could cheer for that Toronto has always appreciated and loved is blue-collar, hard-nosed, tough hockey players who play, quote-unquote, the right way. One of those guys, Rosie, I think, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is maybe one of your favorite players in Matthew Nyes. Oh my God, did he have himself another night tonight. He has looked really good through 6 games, does it again here, gets on the board again tonight. He is the perfect fit for that first line. He is the perfect fit for this team. He is a leader. You can tell it already by the way he plays, talks to other players, conducts himself, takes interviews. The kid is a machine. The chat is pointing it out too, but he's a machine. I want to give him kudos and give you an opportunity to talk about the only guy whose jersey you'd wear. I heard you say that.
Yeah, he's my favorite guy on the team right now. No question about it. I've always thought since I first met the guy and interviewed him, I'm like, man, this guy's made of the right stuff, like head screwed on straight, leadership material. And then his game's really good too. I was just like, man, I think this guy could step in and make an impact pretty quickly in the NHL. You never know how it's going to go, but boom, he's got 1 year under his belt. And now look how we're talking about him. Like, he's got confidence. It doesn't look like it's his second year in the league. It looks like it's like his 6th or 7th. He's chirping guys off. You see him in the playoffs going, go me then. That's what I thought, you chicken shit. Like, I'm just like, man, I love this guy. And he's a beast. And he compliments those guys on that top line. And then he's got skill and he can finish. And I mean, that power 5 hole he went today, I thought he was going to break his stick up. Vasquez just could have sat there knowing it was 5 hole. I think he was burying it through the pads no matter what. I've never seen a guy go so hard power 5.
Rosie, you play lacrosse, right?
My kid does.
Okay, you know, like the crease crank when you're standing on the crease and the guy rips a shot. Like, I grew up my whole life playing lacrosse. That was that I couldn't think of it the whole time. Yeah. Like, it was a crease crank. He steps in 3 feet away and rips the thing as hard as I've ever seen from someone shoot the puck from that close.
With authority, man. And it takes confidence to do that. Domi is just like a setup machine. He's got apples coming out of his ears right now, and then steps up on Georgiev, who's so much bigger than him. Just didn't like the way the guy had kind of, like, Georgiev's probably a little bit frustrated. He got whacked in the nose, whatever, big dumb looking bugger, and he goes high on whoever that was, Benoit.
Yeah,
he goes, not a chance, man. He just steps in there and goes, and I could just see at the back of his head going, Chief's gonna love this, as he starts throwing bombs and then keeps throwing as he's down. Like, you got all the pieces, man. Like, someone watch that game and say, okay, where's Toronto lacking? I'm not saying they can play that way every single night. Every team's trying to accomplish that, and maybe they can channel that more often. I mean, who knows where they're going to go? It is early and it is that one game, but to see that happen, I want to ask someone there's a lot of haters of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Where are they lacking tonight? Where do you see them? What makes you laugh saying they have no chance at winning a Stanley Cup this year after watching that game? They got all the firepower in the world. They got power forward. They got some depth. They got D that can move the puck, some offensive D. They got shut down, stay-at-home D. They got physical D. They got a goaltender that's out of this world that we haven't even talked about. And they got a coach that has done it before, knows what it looks like, and has got these guys on his ship right now, and it looks like they're headed in the right direction. Like, thanks. I'm in a good spot right now.
My only pushback would just be, is this your identity, or is this something you did once or twice throughout the year, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's yet to be seen.
I know.
We haven't even been able to channel this to start off, to go on to say, there it is.
Yeah.
Let's try to get that every night. For years, we've just been spinning the wheels trying to find it. And yeah, you rattle off some wins and you have a 100-point season, but it's just not the way that it's supposed to look if you really want to believe and have faith. Playing that way, whether they play that way the next 10 games or they only channel it once until down the road, I don't know. But that way is the way. Yeah. That is how you win. That is a well-rounded team that's all pulling on the same rope, that is well coached. And to find it that convincingly this early, I think they're even ahead of schedule for even the most positive of Maple Leafs fans.
I would agree with that. And the thing pointed out in the chat too, Chris Arsenault saying, bring it tomorrow to Columbus. Yeah, like, that's going to be another thing. How do you show up tomorrow? Second night of a back-to-back, yet everyone in the world is going to be able to give you the excuse of, well, you had a really emotional, tough one last night and you traveled. Yeah, that's fair. But are you an elite team or are you a really good team? If you're an elite team, you show up tomorrow.
Chief won't allow them to take the night off tomorrow, right? Before, I don't know what was said, but there's coaches where it's like, yeah, guys, I know this is tough, but let's try to get it. It just gives them an out, gives them an exit, mentally allows them not to be in it. You can see the looks on their faces and the body language, and you can feel the preparation and the way they're getting ready for the game in the room. You can see sometimes when it gets lackadaisical, and some coaches will clamp down on and remind those guys and say, hey, listen, I know you got reasons to X, Y, Z. I don't give a rip. Get your heads on right. Get focused up. Do whatever the hell you got to do. When this puck drops, we're going the same friggin' way as we did yesterday. Let's go. Do not sleep on this. And like, oh shit. Like it's not like the guys are scared of him, but they respect him, and he says the right things where you're like, shit, he's right. Where other coaches are like, let's see how they respond. Like, the accountability factor is just right in your face with Craig Berube. Hey guys, this is one we could drop easily for all the reasons you just described. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows that. You know it. I know it. They know it. He won't allow it to happen. And I think this team needs that. And we will see how tomorrow goes. But I have a feeling that they are going to want to keep this train going. And there's nothing better than a team that is just firing on all cylinders, that knows who they are. You get this confidence, this cockiness, this swagger, and all of a sudden, you find yourself starting to feel like the Florida Panthers.
I'm ready to run through a wall listening to you right now. Chat's getting pretty fired up about this too, so I'm glad you were able to get on here for a win. I got one last thing for you before you go. I don't want to take up all of the content that you've got because you're back on with Nick tomorrow morning, so I'm going to give you and Nick some opportunity to talk about this game. But the one other thing that I think you brought up, like, what could you poke holes in? The one thing possibly ahead of the season was going to be goaltending. What are you going to get out of that? Oh, Joseph Wally's injured all the time. What's going to happen when Stolarz has to go in there? You want to hear something here, Rosie? Jonas Siegel tweeted this out following the game. Anthony Stolarz goals against in his first 5 starts as a Leaf. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2.
And today was basically 1.
Yeah, Simone Benoit scored on him by carrying the puck in the net.
He saved that breakaway.
Yeah.
Dude, those numbers are ridiculous. I in my kids' fantasy team that I'm kind of the GM
I heard
of,
you're a scumbag.
I just swapped. For Stoli. His numbers are ridiculous. Dude, no one's writing Joseph Woll off. He's a phenomenal goalie. He very well might be the future of this franchise. Yet to be seen, but the fact is Stoli is playing right now, and he's playing out of his ass. It is, when they're working around that 5-on-3, I thought the Tampa power play did a pretty damn good job, threading some needles and opening some seams and moving the puck cross ice. And I was just sitting there going, Stoli, like, can you? He's everywhere. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you take it for granted. Like, I've had goalies that were ridiculously hot at times, and you're just like, these huge gaps open up and they go cross ice to a guy that's just licking his lips. And for some reason, you don't even go, oh, you just go, yeah, I know. And, oh, yeah, and he's there. And he's there. He's across. He's tracking the puck. Stoli's everywhere tonight. And I just got that feeling of they could have been peppering a little bit on the power play. And, like, you're starting to tighten up going, oh, God, I just know what's going in the back of the net. Like, you're as tight as the guys on the ice.
Yeah.
And Stoli's just everywhere. And then all of a sudden you start to relax and you start to go, well, yeah, Stoli's got this. And you don't even panic when they're moving it around or when they get a chance or you see some open ice or they thread the needle to a backdoor guy. You're not even like, oh shit. You're just like, yeah, I know. And Stoli's there, and he's there every time. It's impressive, man. I don't want to build a statue for this guy. He's got, a lot ahead of him, but to come in unknown with this pressure and then get thrown in opening night where Wool's not ready to go, and he has been nothing, like literally nothing but solid as you could ever ask, man. It's a wicked place because they've been struggling in Toronto for goaltenders for quite a while, and they're looking pretty flush right now.
Yeah, he played pretty amazing here tonight. There was a couple opportunities, 5-on-3. He's making like 5 saves on, and just the reach back save, just even late, like the way he played tonight. And also, you're talking about like he's everywhere. You know who else was everywhere? Ilya Samsonov, but it's a very different way. Samsonov was swimming around in there. There's times where Samsonov, his forehead was looking at the crossbar and the play's going on behind him. That's not what you get out of Stolarz, and I think it provides confidence to the defense in front of him, the forwards in front of him. It just allows the team to play a lot more freely and not clench. Dan, super chat there, says, Philly just called Rosie a scumbag, LMFAO. Yes, I did. As if you're taking over your kid's fantasy hockey team, Rosie.
I'm not taking over. I'm overseeing as a...
Overseeing.
as a person with some experience who's helping a kid through some tough waters, dude.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm like talking to these kids late at night and like answering their trade requests, pretending I'm my kid. God, my kid's always like, "Can I do some stuff?" I'm like, "You are, buddy. We're doing it together." Well, I got a big week coming up, though.
Yeah, well, you're going to have a lot of opportunity tomorrow. Lots of games on the NHL schedule. Leafs back at it tomorrow night against Columbus. You are back at it tomorrow morning. You and Nick, Leafs Morning Take right here on this channel, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Matt Sundin on the program tomorrow. That's exciting. That's
right
exciting.
On. Yeah, you bet. Tune in and watch it, man. Matt's is he's been it sounds like he's been doing the laps of Toronto. Does that guy slept since he got there? He could barely talk. I was like, oh boy, the big smoke came up and grabbed you again, didn't it, Matt's?
Yeah, well, Rosie, appreciate it. Look forward to watching that interview tomorrow, watching you and Nick break this one down. And thank God you got on here for a win. Thank God. Like, it just feels good. It feels good. Thanks for doing this, Rosie. We'll see you back here on the
One of the better wins that I've as high as I could be after a win in the regular season on a Monday night. That's about as good as it gets. So it was nice to get that under our belt. We're back to even now on this thing.
Yeah, it's like top. That's top tier win to be able to come on. Nick's gonna be jealous, but you guys will be able to talk about that one tomorrow. Thanks as always, Rosie. Appreciate it and look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning.
Thank you, buddy. Nice set today, by the way. A little technical difficulties for you, hey, buddy?
Yeah, no Wi-Fi. I'm just in shambles here.
Hey, you worked your ass off to get her there. I'm glad you did because I wanted to come on. It was great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks as always, Rosie. There you go. Jay Rosehill helping us break down game number 6 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season right here on the Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube. If you did enjoy that interview, that breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. Turn on notifications so you get notified every single time that we go live here on this. Break everything down, talk about everything that's going on. So thanks to Rosie for hopping on here and doing that. Appreciate him. Appreciate you guys in the chat for sending your questions and all that kind of stuff here as well. As far as tonight's game goes, though, there's some more stuff I want to talk about. Rosie covered a lot of it. You guys talked about a lot of it here. You guys talked about a lot of it in the chat as this one went on. Funny as well, Mario Kart, Zack being held hostage. No, look at this. Like, just a nightmare. I'm not kidding. This, thank God the Leafs won this game, and Rosie was able to come on here in a positive attitude and everything as well, because this is how this day went. I do other shows throughout the day. Wi-Fi cuts out right as I have to leave and go to the office. Wi-Fi gone. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Maybe it's just a blip or something's wrong. We'll be back. Never comes back. Finish work in the office, go home, get my computer. I brought my whole computer, all my setup. I have like a desktop to the office, set it up here, did that. I'm sitting in this office sweating in here, watching the game. I don't have dinner because I didn't have time. I go to order food for dinner. This is at like the end of the first period. Go to order. It doesn't show up until 5 minutes left in the third period. Like, that was... What a day. But we're here. We got a huge win. And we got more stuff to talk about, but as we do that, let's get to some of the super chats because a lot of you guys are pointing out things I want to get to anyways as well. I see people sending the smelling salts. I don't have them with me. Part of moving locations right now was not having smelling salts. It got left behind in the exchange from my apartment back to the office. They did not make it. Hit the like button, though. We'll track how many there are, and however many by the end of the stream, I'll make up for it tomorrow, hopefully back in my apartment with more Wi-Fi. So I keep hitting the like button, subscribe here to the channel. Thank you to everyone. Let's get to some of the super chats here. Tammy, appreciate the super chat as always. Participation. Tammy is always here buzzing. Tammy says, We'll see if the Berube effect extends to the postseason. There's still room for improvement, but man, I'm excited. They're headed in the right direction. Tammy, the one thing I would say with that is like it's a positive sign to see this at game 6 and not for the first time at game 40. You didn't do this against Anaheim in game 10, 15. You didn't do it against some no good team. At a random point in the year, and we come on and say, hey, you played all the way through, you played 60 minutes and you look good. And that's kind of the only takeaway that we can have from it. This was 60 minutes of game 6 of the year, against the Tampa Bay Lightning, where you came out from the opening puck drop with all the eyes in the world on you, watching you as the standalone game on a Monday night, and you said, we're not going to let this happen. We're just going to come out, play Maple Leafs hockey. I don't care that you're Andrei Vasilevsky and Kucherov and Hedman. I don't care who you are. We're going to play Maple Leafs hockey the new Maple Leaf way, the Berube way, and we're going to steamroll you. We are going to take this one from the opening puck drop to the final puck drop. We'll punch you right back. We're going to lay hits on you. We're not going to be afraid in scrums. We're not going to be afraid in the corners. And they played a solid game of hockey and an enjoyable brand of hockey from the opening puck drop to the final buzzer. That was a fun thing and just a nice takeaway for this group to have happen, because normally third period, step off the gas a little bit, let them in the door, and then maybe they come charging all the way back in. I think that game against the Kings the other day was a bit of a wake-up call. Berube calls that timeout, and he said, not happening. Reams them out, and that's it. LA has no more goals. They don't make that thing closer. The Leafs shut it down. I feel like in between the second and third period, Berube's in there telling these guys, not tonight. Because you know what happens if you let Tampa have a sniff? If they have a hint of it, there's a good chance they come right back in and are able to blow that door off and tie that game up. Doesn't happen. You played a great game of hockey from start to finish. Yeah, there's mistakes here and there. There's some things we could pick on and be nitpicky, but I don't feel like doing that here tonight. We have, 76 more games left in this season to be nitpicky about shit? Not going to be here tonight, because this is a fun game of hockey, and I really, really, really enjoyed watching the team play. Max, super chat. Sportsnet hates the Leafs. Call me conspiracy man. Honestly, I'm just going to be dead honest from a fan perspective watching. It kind of sucks watching those as a Leafs fan. Now, I'm not saying that the broadcast needs to be biased towards the Leafs or screaming and cheering for them, but, I mean, you watch a lot of these other teams, they have home broadcasts. Every time we have a home broadcast, it's publicized nationally. It's put out there for everyone to see, and I feel like they try to overcompensate by just not giving the Leafs all the credit in those situations or not pumping their tires because they don't want to come across as homers on a national broadcast. I get that, but as a Leafs fan, it sucks because you want some excitement in those. You want it to feel like they're cheering for your team on the home broadcast, and it feels like it just gets taken away. Like Lee's saying, every other team has a home broadcast. Yeah, it feels like some of that excitement gets taken away from us, or it feels like we have to watch a game and it feels constantly like the other team is getting praised the entire time, and it's an overcompensation. I mean, I'm just going to be dead honest about how I feel about it. Sorry if that pisses people off out there, but I feel that way. And that's, as a Leafs fan, that is definitely going to be a crappy feeling. Watching your team 82 times and being like, wow, didn't feel like we got pumped up. Like that kind of stinks. I don't know. That's just my honest opinion on that situation. I don't think they hate the Leafs, but I think that it definitely comes across that way and people have a right to be upset with it. Another super chat, Jeff McKay. This has been nice to see this team play 60. Only hated the first goal. Good game. Do it again tomorrow. Yeah, you got a little bit sleepy on that goal. Hedman is able to air that one out to Nick Paul, who gets in, goes on a breakaway. Stolar's amazing save by him. Gets shut down right away. And then it's Simone Benoit coming back full pin. Takes a tumble, crashes into Stolar's, and drags the puck into the net. It's like, really? Really? We're going to go on to this Amazon broadcast for the whole world to see, and this is how we're going to open the game? Like, That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, that's just an unfortunate way to open that one up. Another super chat. Colin Core. I could listen to Rosie talk Leafs 24/7 for life. So lucky to sit here and do these shows with him, talk with him after the games, hear his thoughts on all this stuff. And if you do want more of Rosie, make sure to subscribe here to the channel because he'll be popping in for more post-game shows throughout the course of the year into the playoffs. Hopefully at some point here, get to do some stuff in person with him and Nick as well. A little sneak peek or a teaser, but hopefully that'll be coming up at some point as well. Do want to point out Leafs Morning Take. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. You want more Nick, you want more Rosie, you want more of me, you should just be subscribed to the channel. It's an easy way to be getting much more of that. Last super chat that I've got here, sitting here right now, Dan Freeman, 60... Oh. I pressed the animation. It didn't play, so I just started reading it. That's the type of day this has been. 60 effing minutes of beat you down hockey. Let's go. Yeah, that was a fun brand of hockey to watch tonight. Really, the only thing, as I said to Rosie, and I'll say it again here, I'm not afraid to say it, but can you do this again? Can you keep this? Can this be something you sustain and repeat tomorrow night and through the remainder of the season and into the playoffs? Because if it can, my God, this team is going to be tough to deal with. Tough to deal with. You want to talk about also, I see a lot of you guys in the chat giving credit for all this, for this as well, and I don't want to let pass it by, like just let it go. You want to talk about rewarding guys who play the right way. William Nylander, 2 goals here tonight. He is all over it. He created a ton of opportunities. He was generating chances. He finishes with 5 shots on goal. He gets an assist in there as well. He's a +2 on the night. Great night. Could easily be the guy who gets the belt. Anthony Stolarz, 32 saves on 34 shots against Tampa. 941 save percentage. Making saves in important times against a power play that is fairly lethal. He could have easily been the player of the game. Bobby McMann, another great performance from him. Plays really well on that line with Nylander and Domi. Getting a lot done. Gets himself a point. +2. 2 hits here tonight. Max Domi, an assist. +2. Fighting, hitting, finishing checks, sticking up for guys. Great night from him. Could have been your guy. The guy that they give it to is Chris Tanev. Chris Tanev gets the game belt tonight. Chosen by the guys in the room, the guy who had the game belt last time, gives this belt to Chris Tanev. You want to talk about a culture of recognizing the important things and the things that take you that next step to help you win games, help you be a successful club for an extended period of time into playoffs when it matters the most because you have to play the game the right way and do the right things. This guy here tonight had 7 blocked shots. 7 blocked shots from Chris Tanev. Takeaways, breaking up plays, great on the penalty kill, finishing checks, eating pills. That guy's body is going to be an absolute mess tomorrow morning, at the end of this week. And the team goes into the room after a huge performance by a bunch of different guys, getting on the board, scoring important goals, in highlight reel saves. And the guy that they give it to is Anthony Stolarz. Or is not Anthony Stolarz, but the guy who could have been given to, I meant, was Anthony Stolarz. They give it to Chris Tanev. great night from him. Played really well here yet again after maybe what was his worst game as a Leaf the other night against the Rangers. Not like he was brutal, but he was he played probably the worst we've seen him so far in a Leafs uniform, and then he follows it up with this one here tonight. Comment in the chat that may be one of the funniest ones I've seen in a long time. AK Stamkos was invisible tonight. That's pretty good. Also, Scotiabank chanting, "Where is Stamkos?" when Tampa hadn't scored on the power play yet. I mean, a little bit crazy because we're just one game in the regular season. But pretty funny. And you got to give them respect for it because that's traditionally what's called a quiet crowd. Not tough to play against, and they got involved. Good for them. What else do we got here? More super chat. Let's get to this. Jay Straker, first super chat here on the show. Appreciate it, Jay. Jay says, Nick Robertson seems to be providing a degree of good defense by being relentless on the puck every game so far. I would agree that there's been some step up from Robertson defensively. I'm still looking for a whole lot more from him. I don't think he's given me quite enough for what we're looking for what we want from him. As a guy who showed us that he could score every single night when it was in the preseason and comes into this, and I just don't think that we've gotten that goal scoring, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny that he's added some defensive elements to his game. I think there's a reason Berube is still keeping him in the lineup at this point and giving him opportunities on that third line with Tavares. I feel like there's a hope that he figures out scoring. I mean, you look at some of the chances. I think it was late in the third period there. He gets one. He makes a nice move. He gets across into like a decent scoring chance, down low below the hash marks, and just not able to bury it there. And then the other one was the pass across by Nylander in the second period. It was backdoor. He's got an empty net. He's got an easy goal. Puck goes to him, and he just doesn't bury it. Those are a couple that you're going to look at easily and say, hey, we're missing that, and I want that goal scoring to come because our bottom six, this is another one that I would kind of go to on a positive thing where it's like, hey, we're not as reliant on Nick Robertson. If he can start scoring in that bottom six, it's a bonus because what you end up getting out of him out of the bottom six right now is a great forechecking group. A fourth line with an identity, a fourth line with this piss and vinegar essentially that isn't taking shit from anybody, is winning battles, is getting the puck in the corner, is able to get chances, create chances. Like they're doing a lot of things really well right now. And the fourth line has been something that we haven't really been able to say, hey, they do this. And they do this really well for a while. We were getting that here now. Then you go up to the third line, and we talked about it in the last show, and I don't really want to get too far back into this here today, but we talked about the Tavares decline. And a lot of people in the chat were talking about, oh, well, you know, it's his line mates. He's playing with Pontus Holmberg. He's playing with Nick Robertson, and Nick Robertson hadn't been great. I would agree with that. Craig Berube called out Pontus Holmberg. Wasn't good. Put him down to the fourth line. Said, hey, kid, you got to be a lot better. You need to be a lot better. Demoted. Fourth line. Pacioretty gets an opportunity back into the lineup here tonight. Then you go over to Nick Robertson. He still needs to be better, and if he can start scoring, it will drastically help John Tavares take a step up in the offensive game at 5-on-5. But, I mean, just as far as it goes with Nick Robertson and where he's at, I don't think he's a detriment to this team, and I think that's kind of a good thing. I think he can, and hope he can continue to build off that and become a better player and more impactful player here right now. Okay, other players that I want to get to here tonight. One that really, actually, before I get to this one, I just want to quickly mention, because people are talking about it in the chat, that would be Max Pacioretty. Slots in here tonight, scores. Great play by Connor Timmins, first of all. Deserves some credit for that one. Timmins wins a battle in his own corner below the own goal line, wins the race, get to the puck, and then hauls ass out of the zone, gets down ice, gets across the blue line with the puck, which is something that typically these guys have not done so well, is controlling the puck across the blue line with our defense. It's get to the blue line, get that puck in, get it off my stick. I don't want this grenade near me. They get in across the blue line, and then he makes a pass across to Tavares, drop to Pacioretty, who steps in. Pacioretty 1T, hits the top corner from out far. Good play by Timmins, starts in his own zone, wins the battle. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about good hockey and good things happening. Timmins wins the battle, gets up ice, crosses the blue line first, then makes the pass across to Tavares. Tavares just quick bumper, and it's Pacioretty who's able to capitalize. Your Max Patch, that's what the Montreal fans used to call him, Robert says. Pacioretty, Patches. Gets across the blue line, 1T, top corner. Great play. Good for him to get that one, feel that one, and see it going in the regular season here. You know, after getting scratched for 2 games, he's probably sitting there wondering, like, what the hell is going on, and hopefully it lit a fire under his ass to get him going and keep this a little bit more consistent and maybe be something he can figure out and add to this, because I thought he played a pretty decent game here tonight, and he gets on the board. What is that? There's a comment here. Can you confirm if Patch's nose makes him more aerodynamic on the ice? I cannot confirm. That is funny. Haha. I can't confirm or deny, though. But yeah, good night for Pacioretty. A goal, 3 shots on goal. He's a +1 here tonight. 2, wrong stat. 1 block shot for him as well. But the guy had 3 hits, by the way. The guy I wanted to give credit to here tonight, who really deserves it. Brad Treliving took a ton of shit in this offseason. Can't believe you signed that guy to that contract. Can't believe that money was thrown around on Chris Tanev, and Stolars was the guy that you got as your goaltender. Really? Didn't add too much to the forwards. Why'd you spend that money on some of the defense? Well, so far, the 2 best defensemen, or the 2 defensemen who have stood out the most to us as playing really well, Chris Tanev, who Treliving got shit on, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who played another hell of a game here tonight, is now quarterback number 1 on this power play number 1, is physical, wins battles, pisses guys off, finishes checks, got called for maybe one of the stupidest, most bogus penalties I've seen in a long time. He has been an absolute weapon. Back there, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He moves the puck up ice well. He's got a great first pass. He is able to get back into the corner, blow the goal line, turn the puck up ice, skate it out if need be, pass it if need be. He has looked really, really, really good here through 6 games, and tonight was just another example of that. Oliver Ekman-Larsson finishes the night here tonight. 4 hits, 2 takeaways. He's got a penalty. He finishes with +1. He's got a shot on net. This guy played very, very, very well here tonight, and he deserves all the credit in the world for the impact that he's making on this group right away. Right away. He does not look old. He does not look out of place. He has looked awesome so far. One of the things, 6 1/3, he's great. He's good at everything and doesn't freak out. Yeah, even the stuff that he's not the best at, he's still good at. He's not panicking. He's comfortable with the puck. I think it makes everyone else around him feel a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, six games here, small sample size, but the way that the D play, the guys that they have here, they've got some snot. They don't take shit from anybody. They're pretty good defensively, and they're able to get the puck up the ice. On that note, I need to talk about one of the most outrageous penalty calls. The interference call on Oliver Ekman-Larsson was absolutely fucking stupid by the officials. Honestly. That was a garbage penalty call. Garbage. These refs, I have been hard on them on streams before I got here to the Leafs Nation. If you guys know me, if you know how this works, you know the way that I will come on here and tell you very honestly right from the get-go what my thoughts are on guys calling penalties like that. This guy steps into the play as Jake Guentzel is trying to get the puck on the wall. The puck is right there. He reverse checks him and gets an interference call because Guentzel went down and was holding his head and was just like kind of laying down and looks like he's injured for a second. Bogus call. Mike Batson saying, sorry, Zach, that's interference all year long. The issue that I have with that is that it's not. It's not. If it's interference, that's fine. But Mike, the issue I have with that is that it's not all year long. It's not every game. It's not every shift or every time it happens. And that's the issue with this. That's the problem that I have with those types of calls. It's not consistent. I'm going to watch 12 hockey games tomorrow night or whatever the heck it is, 14, I don't know. There's a billion games. I'm going to watch every single game tomorrow night. I'm going to see that exact play 5 to 10 times tomorrow. I guarantee it. I bet you it will not get called once tomorrow. They just will not do it. This same officiating crew might do it tomorrow. They won't do it. I know this is a Leafs breakdown and not a ref breakdown, but my issue is not that was a call. My issue is that is so inconsistent. That's bullshit. And if he doesn't step into the guy there and make that play, if Guentzel gets by, we all come on here after and we talk about it and say, why is that not stepping up and hitting the guy? Why is he not taking him out? I'm not saying this as like a Leafs. I know it's going to come across that way, a Leafs bias. I get it. It is what it is in those situations. But it's not, it's a bogus call is really what it is to me. Is my chat? Oh, there we go. The stream on my screen looked like it went down. But to me, that's a BS call. That's it. He was like laying down and like doing that. Like that's why I'm like, Mike, I get it what you're saying. That's a call all year long. My problem is it's not a call all year long. It's a call sometimes if the ref feels like it. BS. Then on top of that, after we're already pissed off about it, that we already saw that stupid penalty be called in the corner. Lorentz hits the puck with his hand, passes it off his stick or taps it forward off his stick to Holmberg, who grabs it, scores. Called no goal on a hand pass on something that was obviously not a hand pass. Obviously not a hand pass, and you're calling that, and then you can't challenge it. You can't challenge it. What if that's in the playoffs? What if that is in the playoffs and you're up by 2-1 in the third period with 2 minutes left and it hits his hand and he taps it with his stick and a guy scores in an empty net or he scores on the goalie in the offensive zone and makes it a 2-goal game and they call it no goal because the guy can't see it, which fair enough, it happens really fast, but he can't see it and now you can't review it? You can review an offside that was this close, but you can't review the hand pass that wasn't a hand pass? This is the stuff I'm talking about with this league where it's like, what are we doing? Yeah, Tammy, if that was in the playoffs, there's a riot. There is a riot if that happens in the playoffs. For any team. If that's your team that happens to and it goes down the other way and the other team ties it because you had a bogus hand pass called against you that was not a hand pass, you're going to lose your mind. You lose your mind. Patrick, maybe if you cry harder, it will change. That's great, Patrick. Positive attitude, man. Positive attitude. Dodges, Tampa Bay fan here in the chat. Not happy that there's discussion about the officiating. Not happy. I'm not even complaining about the officials as like a whole or an impact on the game. I'm just talking about the fact that these guys stink. Watch any other game for all day tomorrow. It's going to be garbage calls all day. It's just, there's no repercussions. These guys are just no good. Crankbait. My TV is broken if that's the playoffs. Yeah. Yeah, foam balls are coming out. My TV's getting littered. Yeah. Yeah, like you're going nuts. How can you not fix that? How can you not find a way to get around that with all the stuff that you can do nowadays and all the cameras you've got? You can't fix that one? Come on. Something that I wish I could fix here tonight is the losing bet that was given out, unfortunately. We can't win them all, and we have unfortunately lost another one here tonight. Let's break it down. Let's talk about what went right, what went wrong here, why the bet was made. And for those of you wondering, yes, this segment is brought to you by Bet365. The pregame best bet, the postgame best bet is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of the Leaf Station pregame and postgame show, After Dark, right here on Leaf Station 401. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Remember to use code TLN bonus. That's TLNBONUS when you sign up today. Let's get to the best bet. And apparently the super chat music, because why not? That's the shambles today. I'm trying to fix this, trying to get this going. Shambles. Best bet given out, Ekman-Larsson to score a goal. Plus 750. We bet it small. For those of you who are tailing along with the units, we did a quarter of a unit, a 0.25. So it's $25 on $100. If a $100 unit size, $25 to win 187. I think the reasoning was there. Maybe this just wasn't the game to be playing it in, honestly. The issue is that what happens is I bet it thinking he's going to get power play time. He's shooting the puck more. I read Berube's quotes out of the morning skate and what he was talking about out of practices and everything that's going on with the team over the last couple of days and the transition to some of these guys playing on the power play, Ekman-Larsson playing on the power play, Morgan Rielly taking a step up onto PP2, what they're getting as out of like Max Pacioretty and Max Domi and trying to get everybody to kind of shoot more. Don't be afraid to shoot. Don't always give the puck over to Matthews and Nylander, and those are the only guys who are allowed to shoot the puck. Everyone else needs to shoot as well and keep them honest. And Berube, I was reading, was talking about the fact that Ekman-Larsson and Morgan Rielly are shooting the puck more, not just on 5-on-5 when they're in the offensive zone, but on power plays. Like, they are talking about how they're trying to keep them honest. They're ripping pucks from the point. And I kind of thought that we might start to see that shine through here tonight from Ekman-Larsson. Him being able to create some more opportunities with that, and maybe something just sneaks through. He's able to jump into the play, jump in on a rush, or even on the power play, take advantage of walking down into some time and space and getting a shot off and scoring. Thought that plus 750 was an interesting number because of where he was at and the minutes that he was going to get. Like, I think when he first came here, I would have never played that, especially not understanding how much he was going to play. But when you look at him and Jake McCabe being your number one pair from a minutes perspective, Ekman-Larsson plays 21:40. Jake McCabe plays 22:09, which is something that should be brought up here as well. Morgan Rielly, 18:29. Chris Tanev, 18:01. Simone Benoit, 18:53. But it's Ekman-Larsson and Jake McCabe who are the only two defensemen on this team who get up there into the 20-minute mark. Also, Steven Lorentz is listed as a defenseman right now on ESPN. I just noticed that. He's listed as a defenseman for tonight's game. Sorry, that distracted me. I just thought we were going to get a better chance out of Ekman-Larsson to create something and maybe be able to find the back of the net. Plus 750, in hindsight, maybe we just needed a little bit better odds on that. Maybe I was kind of trying to take a reach and get out ahead of something, expecting that number maybe drop down if he's going to be more involved like that. I thought I was anticipating something out of the coaching news. Unfortunately, it's not the case, and we lose that bet here tonight. So Through 6 games now, we have a 2-5 record, unfortunately. 7 bets given out. We did give out 2 in the game on Saturday night against the Rangers. Both of those lose. So now we've lost 4 in a row. We're 2-5. We're going to get back on track. We've got another opportunity here tomorrow against the Blue Jackets. I feel like with a lot of other games out there, guys, I will say this as well. We might be able to catch some of these books sleeping. They're going to have to focus on all the games going on. You know, you're getting NBA back up. Are you going to be the most efficient on every single line and prop given out? Maybe not. And maybe that's where we find value tomorrow with all these games happening again. So lose the bet tonight. Go to 0.75 units. We are down. We're not even down a full unit yet. 7 bets on the season, and we just 0.75. So yeah, that's kind of how this game went for our bets. But otherwise, it was a real good game for everything else. So yeah, unfortunate from a betting perspective for us. Nonetheless, we keep it going, and we'll try to be back tomorrow and win another bet then. And hopefully not this, what looks like I'm being held captive. I don't even know what this is back here. Cards and cologne, I think. I don't even know whose that is. All right, a couple more things I want to get to before we wrap this one up, finish it off. I put in the chat there, who was your MVP tonight? I gave a couple options. Nylander had 2 goals and assists. Bobby McMahon played himself a hell of a game. Anthony Stolarz, third option, who had 32 saves on 34 shots, a .941 save percentage, has yet to allow more than 2 goals while he starts in net for this Maple Leafs team so far to start this season. And 66% of you have voted Anthony Stolarz as your MVP for Game 6 here, home ice, against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So kudos to Anthony Stolarz and his amazing performance here tonight. 530 votes on the poll, 66% voting for Anthony Stolarz. There was another option there. If you guys had one, you could send it in the chat. If you didn't think it was any of those 3 guys or it was a different guy to you, still have time to let me know who you guys pick. But yeah, that's 66% voting for Anthony Stolarz. Okay, let's get to Dodges. Stolarz was not the MVP, LOL. Who was then? We're just wrong. Not him. Who was it then? You got to tell us. You can't just say wrong. Why? Why are we wrong? Let's hear it. Okay. Brube MVP. Okay. You know what? Dodges? Okay. Salvatore? Can I vote for Tanev as co-MVP? Sure. Okay. You know what? I'll give you those. Let's get to our play of the game. I need some Gatorade here. This has been a long day. I also went to the Bills game yesterday. The Bills or football experience, nowhere near hockey. I will say the fans were pretty sick. It was a cool environment. Fans were, or the viewing experience. How do people like that more than hockey? That's what I don't get. Let's get to our play of the game for tonight. Play of the game for me. There's a lot that I could choose from here tonight. Kind of have a tough time. Man, I would say, I'm going to say the Stolarz reach back. The guy's been an absolute weapon. He has been a huge, huge reason for the confidence this team is playing with, for kind of just helping them out on some of the special team situations, 5-on-3s, any of the penalty kills that they're having. He has looked really, really, really good. He has been calm. He's poised. And this was one of those nights tonight where he actually got some of the highlight reel saves in there, not just huge timely saves where it was like, hey, that was awesome, he made that save at that time, or he was able to break up that play, whatever. He looked really, really good and gets that highlight reel save where he stops the puck point blank, it goes to the side of the net, dives back and grabs it off the goal line. It was a monstrous save at a perfect time and really, really dug this team out of a spot that could have made it. I believe would have been 4-2 at that time if Tampa scored. And then who knows? Maybe they start building momentum and Stoller says not going to happen. Leafs even go to the penalty kill right after that. And he's the guy who's right there front and center, basically just saying, nah, not happening. You're not coming back in this one. He was unreal. He was unreal here tonight, and he gets that. Honorary mentions. Connor Timmins deserves one for the play that led to the Max Pacioretty goal. He wins the battle in the corner, skates the puck up the ice, crosses over the blue line, and once he crosses over the blue line, makes a quick pass across to John Tavares, who bumps it down to Pacioretty, takes a one-timer top corner. Also, just a great play. Makes that pass across after winning the battle in your own zone, which is the most important part, gets down the ice and across. Beautiful. Kudos to him. Finishes with the goal. Another one that I would give to it, would be the Matthew Nyes goal. Fun to just watch him just be a power player like that. The defense plays up because the forwards are back defensively. They're getting back quick. So the defense is able to kind of step up a little bit and take away time and space, not let the other team enter the zone so easily. They break up the play, turn the puck back up ice, and after they turn it up ice, it's Nyes who's going the other way. Yeah, he got really lucky. The Tampa D smash into each other, fall over, and Nyes is in on breakaway, but goes to the net hard, finishes it strong. Just as Rosie said, that power shot from 3 feet away. Regardless, great play. Another one, Bobby McMann. He deserves so much credit for the play on the second Nylander goal. Even on the first one, Domi and McMahon get in below the goal line. They go to work down there. They win battles. They get the puck back out front. Willie able to score. The other one is Bobby McMann, who just Ekman-Larsson breaks it up, sends it up ice. Bobby McMann chases it down, gets it, hits the puck up, takes a hit to make a play. He gets lit up in the neutral zone, but he makes the play to get the puck through to Willie. Willie goes up ice, able to bury past Vasilevsky, short side there. And then it is Oliver Ekman-Larsson who goes over and taps Bobby McMann on the back because he's saying, that's what you do. That's how it's done. That's playoff hockey. That's the type of shit that helps you win Stanley Cups. That was a great play, and he deserves credit for that. So those are my honorary mentions. As for grade of the game, let's hear what you guys have here in the chat. Send your grade of the game. What do you have? Why do you have that? As well, if you haven't already, hit the like button here on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. I want all you guys to make sure, as I kick the camera because of my shady setup here, I want you guys to make sure you don't miss anything here on the channel. Matt Sundin right here with Nick and Rosie tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. So subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. But as far as it goes for the grade of the game for me, damn, this is real close to A+. I think I'm going to give it an A because there's always room for improvement. Discipline could have been slightly better, but I think that some of the stuff was just kind of stupid. Calls, I think that they played a real good game. I think that special teams looked pretty good, even though you only go 1 for 4 on the power play. Yeah, I mean, this is an A for me. This is an A. There's some room for improvement, but a lot of the stuff that we talked about was like, hey, that's pretty bang on for what you need being a standalone primetime game. You get Nylander involved, Matthews involved, you get Pacioretty on the board. Like, you get a lot of these guys nice scores. Like, you get some secondary scoring while you also get your big boys going again. It's a good feeling. You know, you walk away from this feeling real nice about everything that's gone on with this team so far through the first couple of games. I mean, Nylander now at 5 goals on the season, 7 points. Matthews gets on. He's got 3 consecutive here now. He's going to be feeling a lot better. He's right back in this one for like, it felt like he was never going to score. I mean, you talk about weight off your shoulders and not feeling the burden of carrying the C. Feels like he could be in a much, much better spot here now and could start just absolutely chugging the rest of the way. So, yeah, it's an A. I mean, I would give it an A+, except I'm just giving it the asshole teacher grade who wouldn't give you the A+, because they said, hey, there's always room for improvement. There's a little bit of room for improvement on some of the stuff. It's not like a perfect game, but I'm giving it the A. Giving it an A. You gave it an ass kicking, as Dean says, to Tampa Bay. So good for the boys here tonight. Great win. That's going to do it for me for tonight's show. I appreciate all of you guys who watched, who tuned in. We'll be back tomorrow for a game preview. So basically, you're getting full day of content here as well. I mean, you're going to get morning show at 11 a.m. You're going to get the game preview up at, that's 11 to 12. Matt Sundin on there as well. I'm going to say it a million times because I will be tuned in watching. I love Matt Sundin. I love Nick and Rosie, so I'll be watching 11 a.m., but I'll be back here for that. Then we're going to go to Leafs pregame, which will probably be up around 1 o'clock-ish. Then we're going to get, what else are we going to get? I don't even know. Clips from the shows, another clip from the Sundin interview. Now we're going to get the post-game show here tomorrow night, and I think maybe Nick's on tomorrow. I'm Ron Burgundy. Let me check for you guys real quick so that you know what's going on tomorrow night. No guest tomorrow night. Never mind. Maybe one of the boys wants to call in. Maybe you guys in the chat will call in. That's going to do it for me tonight. I appreciate everyone who tuned in, who watched. Thank you so much for the support. Thanks to Rosie for calling in. Thank you for the super chats, the likes, the subscribes, all of that. I appreciate it as always. We'll be back here tomorrow for more content, whether it's from myself, Nick, Rosie. You're getting all of us tomorrow, all in one day. I appreciate you. We'll be back. This is game number 6 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they defeat the Tampa Bay Lightning here 5-2 to move to 4-2 on the season. That's all. And as always, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.